Hello students, welcome to Social Science online classes. In this session, you will learn Political Science first chapter, that is the problems of India and their solutions. In this chapter, you are going to learn unemployment, discrimination, corruption, terrorism, communalism and corporate strategies. Look at this image here. India has made a place for itself as one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Yet it loses behind in a lot behind in the name of growth. As the rich are getting richer and the poor get poorer, the divide has been expanding more than before. India has faced many external and internal problems since 1947. These problems have to be managed through efficient administration. The support of citizens is needed for our democratic governments at the center, state, and local levels. Now, let's see what are the problems faced by our country. It's our duty to know this. We need to know and find some solutions to them. Most of them are human made and national emergencies. Okay, now we'll study the problems faced by India one by one. First one is unemployment. Unemployment is the major problem in India. This problem is not unsolvable. In India, 92% people are in unorganized sector. Some people are doing small works like porter, pulling cart, etc. They earn very small amount of wages. This could be solved if we youths unite and gain support of government and start some cottage and small scale industries where people could work for their welfare. This makes Indian youths a role model to all the people in the world. So, government should give the opportunities to all the citizens by establishing factories, schools, hospitals. Then only employment will be reduced in India. See, employment is a situation where a person do not find work in accordance to his capacity or qualification. India has a huge population and unemployment is a big problem. The population and improved technology are considered as the two reasons for unemployment. Apart from these two, shortage of natural resources, over dependency of agriculture, ruined cottage industries and lack of skill based education, employment has become a huge problem. According to census of 2011, the poverty rate is 21.9%. This indicates the growing problem of unemployment in India. In order to solve the poverty related issues, both the central government and state governments have taken various measures to generate employment for people. Steps have been taken to the skill level of job seekers so that they can have better access to the employment. In reality, handicrafts and products created out of self-employment are unable to compete with the goods created by globalized economy, and this has further complicated the issue of unemployment. So, the solution is to inculcate world-class skill to our people so that they compete with the globalized production. Apart from this, every citizen of the country should be encouraged to involve in one or the other employment by providing job oriented course to all is another strategy to think on. Now we'll have a look over the next problem, that is corruption. Corruption is another social evil in the public life of India. The public life of India. Now the corruption has spread to all the class of society. Corruption means offering bribe and following any other illegal means to achieve some illegal benefits. Corruption stays away from legal framework in its operation. It also can be defined as the misuse of public authority for personal gains. Corruption has become infectious disease in personal life. Corruption influences negatively on both personal as well as public sphere of life. It influences the economic, social and political life of the country negatively. Political corruption leads to crime. It also provides motivation of corruption in public life and nourishes the misadministration on the part of the officials. In public sphere, bribery, nepotism, caste favoritism and intentional slowdown of the work appear as various forms of corruption. Corruption is ruining the spine of the nation and has adversely affected the economy of India. Corruption is widespread in India. India is ranked 95 out of 179 countries in Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index. But its score has improved consistently from 2.7 in 2002 to 3.1 in 2011. Instances of corruption in the nation are many and seems to be never ending. If India were a nation devoid of corruption, the poverty level would have been much lower. Corruption is no more confined to one or two persons. It is not restricted to one or two persons. It has become a huge network spread all over the country. Historically, corruption has taken the role of pervasive aspect of Indian politics and bureaucracy. It is impossible to root out corruption by either rejecting it at a personal level or just going along with it. It can be rooted out only through strong public ethics and morality and personal commitment. Lack of strict supervision and weak legal enforcement leads to corruption. Institutions like Lokpal and Lokayukta can bring down corruption drastically. Education institutions can take a lead in this direction. By installing CCTV cameras in government offices and increasing efficiency of government work can also bring down the intensity of corruption. Measures like awarding harsh punishment for corrupt officials can also bring in some change. Increasing the number of courts and judges can also rein in corruption. In nutshell, coordinated efforts are needed to address this burning social problem. Now we'll have a look over the next problem of India, that is discrimination. Discrimination on the basis on gender, that is gender discrimination. Discrimination refers to inequality. Gender discrimination therefore refers to inequality between people of opposite gender. A most famous example of gender discrimination is the desire of having a male child in the family rather than having a female child. Apart from this, one serious area of discrimination is the gender discrimination at workplaces. And what is a gender discrimination? Gender discrimination is any distinction, exclusive or restriction made on the basis of sex, which has the effect or purpose of reducing or preventing the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise by men or women of their equality, human rights, and fundamental freedoms in the political, economic, social, cultural, civil, or any other field. Causes of gender discrimination. Men dominating mentality, various social and religious beliefs, lack of a strong protest by women, family rituals, physical factor treating women as a weaker gender, and workplace discrimination. Government of India has undertaken various measures providing reservations in education and employment, along with providing reservations in election of local bodies to overcome this gender discrimination. It has reserved 1/3 of the seats in local elections. In Karnataka, 50% reservations has been given to women in local body elections. With these measures, efforts are made to end the discrimination prevalent between genders. Now, discrimination based on caste. Just like a gender discrimination, caste-based discrimination is also a challenge to India. Caste system is a gift to Indian political system from the ancient time. Many measures have been undertaken in the constitution itself to prevent caste-based discrimination. What is a caste-based discrimination? Social and economic divides still exists across India. Caste is the term used to describe the complex system of social divisions that pervades life in India. Caste is an ancient hereditary system and developed alongside and became intertwined with Hinduism. Here is an example. You are a Muslim and you wear traditional clothing. You call about an apartment and it is available. When you show up to look at it, the landlord says it is rented, but ad continues to run in the newspaper for rent. It is illegal to deny someone an apartment because of their religion or for any other prohibited ground. Many measures have been undertaken in the constitution itself to prevent caste-based discrimination. The right for equality and freedom have been included in the section 3 of Indian Constitution, but the caste system has continued to live even after all these efforts. This cannot be solved only with the legal interventions or with the legal interference or the involvement of the government. In order to eradicate this system, the society also needs to prepare itself to accept the challenge. In Karnataka, in order to address the regional imbalances, a committee headed by D.M. Nanjundappa has given special report on various measures needed to solve the regional imbalance in 2001. Some of the most backward regions of Karnataka have been given special status by adding Article 307J. Dear students, we'll wind up this session here. Tomorrow we'll come up with other problems faced by India. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.